Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Recently, I took a trip to Atlanta and I flew on a budget airline. Now, I know flying budget airlines is not everybody's cup of tea, but for me, I don't mind it. I've flown budget airlines maybe about 6 times, so I'm more familiar with their practices. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to ball on a budget. I'm going to do what works for me. So I'm going to do what works for me, and you do what works for you. So when flying on a budget airline, do your research. You hear a lot of bad things, but some people may have some good things to say. So for me, I asked people if they've flown and I got a lot of bad reviews, but I dug even further and went on Reddit and learned some tricks of the trade, I guess you would say. And that helped me with deciding on if I wanted to, fly with a budget airline or not. But this was years ago. So do your research. If you can, book at the airport. Now, that may be easier said than done, but if you can, book at the airport. Maybe have a friend, drop you off at the terminal and you run in and buy your ticket at the counter real quick. For me, I booked my ticket 1 month and 2 days before my departure. I looked online that morning and the ticket was $162. By booking at the airport, I paid $122. Now with that money, I could buy drinks, do a little bit of shopping, or maybe upgrade my ticket. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can use that money at other places. So if you can, book at the airport. Another tip I would say is if you are having a short flight, and by short flight, I mean less than 2 hours, fly a budget airline. There are ways to make the trip comfortable or the flight more comfortable, but I've never heard anybody say anything bad when their flight has been 2 hours or less. Now, if they've had a longer flight, maybe they missed a connecting flight or it was a delay, I've heard those stories, so I get it, but a 2-hour flight has worked wonders for me. I've went to Atlanta several times and to Florida twice on a budget airline and never had an issue. I also researched where people were complaining about their flights. And when I was looking years ago, I think Cleveland, Ohio, and somewhere in Florida, like they was getting bad raps, like the flights were always late or something else. I can't remember. Anyway, next. Use a vacuum seal bag. You see me right here using my pump. Now they have like smaller rechargeable pumps you can use with the vacuum seal bags. This is perfection for anybody who overpacks. Now, I typically don't overpack. Usually, I can put all my stuff in a personal size bag, but I had some issues and didn't know what our plans were going to be, and then the weather changed on me, so I kind of overpacked. But you see how small that vacuum seal bag got? I recommend you get one, and not just for flying, for any type of travel. Okay. Also, when you're traveling, pack you a reusable water bottle, your iPad, and your phone. So I used to just bring a plastic water bottle that I can toss when I'm done. But this time I brought my stainless steel water bottle. I refilled it when I got through the gate, but through security, and everything was cool. Budget airlines typically don't offer in-flight entertainment, and to be honest, on the airlines that have offered me in-flight entertainment, it wasn't nothing I wanted to watch. I have my own shows I'm behind on, so me downloading them on my iPad or on my phone works for me. So I suggest you do the same. Going back to baggage, if you can, pay for your carry-on. So remember how I say it, I saved $40 by booking at the airport versus online. It also allowed me a little bit more extra money to pay for my carry-on. I flew Spirit Airlines, and the seat that I got was like a Go Savvy seat. So it included my, I got to choose my seat, and I got a free carry-on bag in addition to my personal bag. So that wasn't a bad price, considering that it's one of those airlines where you have to pay for everything. So if you can, pay for your carry-on. This was the first time I've paid for my carry-on. Every other time I've just used my personal bag and never had an issue because I used a vacuum bag. But if you can swing it, pay for the carry-on. Last but not least, wear your bulky clothes. Now, I did a little bit of shopping. I bought my husband a t-shirt, a jacket, and a sweatshirt. Now, up until the time I got to the airport, I just put his sweatshirt in my personal size bag. But after I got through security and before I got on the plane, I wore it. I wore it on the flight and I had no issues. So your bulky clothing, like these camo pants I have on, they're very big and heavy and bulky. Wear your bulky clothes. It's just a flight. You know what I'm saying? I will also recommend buying a bag that fits their carry-on requirements. So this bag, I've had it for a few years now and it meets their carry-on dimensions. But what's so cool about this bag is it expands. So it's 2 layers of zippers, one to close, and then if it's too tight, I can unzip it and it expands a little bit. And I ain't gonna lie, I was a little worried because I bought my husband some clothes and my sister brought me some stuff and I was like, you see me right here? I'm struggling a little bit, but it's all good. I made it through security with no issues. I made it on my flight with no issues. Everything worked out. So those are my tips for flying a budget airline. If you have any other tips to suggest, leave them in the comments below. Like I said, I know flying budget airlines is not for everyone, but if you're on a budget, I will encourage you to consider it. Until next time, y'all have a good one.
Right in.